Hey, everybody, and welcome back to another amazing episode of the Bonanza podcast. I'm joined with Thumper today. Say hi, everybody. Check out his thumbs. What's going on? I have a guest today, but before we get into that, I'm going to read today's quote, which is from Friedrich Nietzsche. I follow him on Instagram, well, not him personally, but this quote account, so I always get a lot of good quotes. Today's quote is, "What does your conscience say? You should become the person you are." And that's by Friedrich Nietzsche. And my guest today is Zerilath. What's up, Zerilath? How's it going? He's been on the show before. We're friends in real life.
Hails.
Hanging out with
Locke. Oh my God. Hails.
Hail.
What's good, man? So it's been what, like a year? I think a year, and I was on the Sharon show.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been that long. And then you were on the show.
I just wanted to get a bite to eat, and you're just like, okay, dude, let's schedule live streams. Like, okay, I'm good. All right, cool.
Cat butt.
Cat butt, right. Lizard face.
There he goes. All right, awesome.
There's so the boss. He's the boss.
I think you had a horn you wanted to show us. Why don't you open the show by blowing the horn?
Yes. Everybody, I've been showing this thing off. Spoils of the Renaissance Fair. So we're gonna sound off the show with Heimdall's horn. How'd it sound? Over
good? I feel like I should be riding into battle.
Yeah. Oh my God. Woo! That was like the biggest blowing horn that they had at the shop, and I looked in two places. So
oh, nice.
I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna try and put runes on it and such.
Oh, that's awesome. So what have you been up to?
Man. Well, just for the continuity of those that only know me from the Over Sharon show, and mentions of me in your other shows, it's been this big balance between the physical side of my journey, the journey that needs to happen in ordinary reality, and then of course, what's happening out in the ethers, right? I've had a couple of crazy shamanic experiences, one of which thanks to a lot of mushrooms. And so it's been keeping this balance of the as above, so below in my life, which is what makes it interesting, because as someone who is really kind of like trying to live an example that I can put on YouTube, right? Like, if I can be the first human being to prove that you can have an apotheosis into becoming a legitimate superhero of your choice without going towards dark sorcery, aka surgeons of the trust the seance people, sign me up, right? People, because I know a lot of people are very interested in getting like cybernetic arms or something like that. And I'm like broski, I get it.
Really?
You don't want that to become science fiction.
Do they just want that to jerk off more or something? Like, what's going on? I don't understand.
Oh, maybe they are just too lazy to have what it takes to work in construction, and they want to work in construction. They just want big powerlifting arms for construction. I can understand that. So like I work I work at a garden store, right? And so it's been a very interesting mythical experience, because I it's a thing where I kind of can tell that literally Goddess Freya has protection over me while I'm there. There's just something that works. And I just have at it, and I do my job, and I get to do plenty of heavy lifting, right? Because part of this, my physical journey is quite literally, the physical transformation I'm going through, right? And then I have to express myself in a certain way in order for any of what's internally happening with me to be apparent and a part of um, a presentation of an example, presentation of what it's like to go through your doubts in your head. Like I do like a lot of just stream of consciousness stuff, reflect on my personal doubts to the absolute core and weighing both sides of the matter, right? Um and you go so hardcore on this, you almost feel like you're being untrue to yourself because you're practically living in the skin of something that you don't believe in because you're learning the modus operandi of it, right? And very much being a capable person in my own body was not very high priority to me in my functionality of life. I was doing everything else but that. This was the missing piece that I was in dumb denial about. Really dumb denial, how it kind of all puts it together, right? And it makes you feel, even though you're not perfect, even though you still got a gut, that like, am I reaching some sort of Atman, or am I just too amusing not to watch, even though I'm not impressive at all? It's not like I have the interest or perhaps even the balls to go walk into the MMA right now, right?
Yeah, I think that happens though to a lot of people. They get stuck on either working on their body or like working on themselves, their brain, like their the mental or spiritual space. And I think that it is good to have a really good balance because it's so easy to get stuck in one without the other. And that's kind of like the new agey trap, I feel like, is
Right,
to just
right.
not worry and you just dwindle away to nothing basically and forget your
Yeah.
body.
You ever notice in the new age that like nobody talks about a divine god in the male sense of the energy. It has to be goddess. And they'll even use Gnostic knowledge against them about Sophia, right? As Sophia's actually the mother of Yahweh, right? Like and all that stuff, right? They're killing the yang spirit, right? It's breaking down the natural harmonics of the goods part of duality, because new age also gets into this whole duality, right? It's like the matrix. Oh, the problem is choice, right? It's about the yes or no's, the binaries. This is why knowing the I Ching is extraordinarily helpful if you want to see how none of the binaries in life are restrictions at all. It's just the literal atom to atom nuances of every conceivable choice. It's just giving you some structure, because to have free will and not have a mechanism for navigating free will is cruelty. And a lot of heathens will interpret this whole issue of God saying don't have the fruit of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil as this whole thing of not understanding these mechanisms. And I think it's incredible what everybody is doing with their life, as an example of something that is really supernatural compared to our understanding of physics or faith just 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's amazing to see the different stuff that's been going on, especially compared to like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I still feel like, though there are traps that people can still get caught in, but I think that the part of the whole fun of the journey is to just like find your way and figure out what works for you specifically. Everyone's always like, they think they find the one way and that has to be the way and all that stuff. But I feel like that's why I like heathenism, because it seems to be more Well, if done properly anyway, it seems to be more of an individualistic path, really.
I mean, yeah, more or less. I mean, there are little bits and pieces of pitfall, right? Like if you are not particularly of exactly a heathen community's understanding of the world that they have on a shared level, which is no doubt going to happen for the sense of community, the agreement amongst each other about the common experience of what you have, whether it be uh paranormal phenomenon or ordinary phenomenon, right? And so we have all these understandings in our historical tradition that there was, for one thing, the alpha blot ceremonies and rituals for connection with the elves, right? The elves were guardian wisdom type of spirits. It's the same thing that a lot of new age groups are typically invoking the angels. They're all into Michael and Gabriel and Azael, and like going through all that hierarchy that we understand from many different systems. And I'm realizing that like this is akin to, I think, what our ancestors were doing. And I have an interesting internal relationship with that because these people are my friends and I care about them and I understand a whole lot of this and they respect my heathenry. Some of them maybe are like Christian heathen together. Like one of my Christian friends gave me this heathen spell book, and and I appreciate her for it. I don't like the book because it's a little bit more Wiccan, right? Than and not it doesn't really quite go there. It's not really based on much of anything other than a few Norse invocations overlaid over like Wiccan spellcraft. It's but I'm glad that she gave it to me. Right? So when I'm doing the whole angel thing with them, it's in my world, it's like, all right guys, like you don't have to protect me. I got my guys. You're fine, but don't don't ruin this connection. Right? And that's kind of my attitude about it because I've got a very different experience of it, and I think it's just like I think the angels are almost like the spirits of their highest beliefs of the spiritual authority of order, right? And I don't know. I'm left and right hand path at the same time. Angels are very right hand path, and I don't know. It's like a giant obsidian wall that I'm afraid I'm gonna have to break down someday. And it's gonna be really hard to do.
What do you
Right?
think about like a middle path when you hear people talk about like a middle way, kind
That's
of
what I'm
doing
that's
both?
what I'm saying. I'm right and left hand path. There's times like I can't sit comfortably with the angels because they're just really hardcore right hand path. Right? It's just like I'm not worried about the angels, but at the same time, I don't want to be under those energies because um I I need to know a way better background story of what those angels' origins are. I'm not there yet, right? I'm not there yet because until I find um what they were in heathenry that got hijacked in the psyche of whatever tribe carried the tradition of these particular entities by name and and distinction as an archetype, then I can't quite jive with it because these things are kind of more akin to being the antithesis to the demons that work for the devil. And it's just like there is no Satanism apart from Christianity. There is no Christianity apart from Satanism, right? And everybody knows this stuff. These are important names to the Christian archetype of good servants of God in the spirit realm.
That's a really good point. it's the funny thing is that a lot of Christians don't see that. I mean, I think there is some kind of Christianity that exists without Satanism if you look at like esoteric Christianity perhaps, but other than that, I know you're saying like the church Christianity and all that stuff, most of it relies on the good and the bad, that conflict. It's like a mechanism to keep people in fear so they
Yeah.
do the right thing. That's what I
Right.
found myself
Right.
doing when I was younger in Christianity. I was saying this the other day on a show. It's like the only reason I was doing it or being good was because I thought I was going to be punished. Then I had to like get rid of that framework and kind of exist as like an agnostic for a little while and then build my own path to morality, I guess you could say. And I'm glad that I did that because now I know it's, these questions that I had before, I don't have. I mean, I still have questions, but with the way that I lead my daily life, I don't have to question why I'm doing things. I kind of know why I'm sticking to one path or another because it just feels what's right.
Yeah. I need to go through a couple of things to test and absorb the practice in accordance to how I feel about them, my values, and what I'm willing to change. What do I think is good or bad in me that has to change? Like, is this a doctrine that says that something about me that at this time is good, and I judge it as good, therefore I can't accept that? Do I have to throw out everything in what they are because of it? Like I went back and forth with this because this original thinking evolved in me um when I got exposed to Pentecostal church as a Roman Catholic, and saw the difference, the vast difference between these two different ways that people spoke about Jesus and Jesus's father. And it was just like, wow, this is a way better story for me than the bullshit that I'm getting out of these people, and I hate it here. These people are, there was something. The people were better out of what my emotional needs were as a tween. We're talking about 12 years old.
Yeah. How long were you in that born again Christian thing for?
Um,
Hostel.
uh, you know, I suppose like 2000 maybe was the last year that I considered myself Christian. It just kind of slipped away. I didn't. I just I'm pretty sure I don't need to make a big stink that I don't think that Christianity is the way for me, like a lot of people do, because I wasn't abused by Christianity. It just wasn't sufficient for my feelings.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. 100%. I think that does happen. There's a lot of abuse, and then people want to demonize the Christian church, which, I mean, I get it. It's not like they're up to really great things.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But you could get stuck in that and stuck in having to like prove that they're wrong and prove that you found another way, or, it's kind of like another trap.
Yeah, yeah. I think churches are just there for people to reflect on the week and ask themselves, do I need to continue to feel guilty because I sat there and did nothing again?
Yeah, exactly. What's
That's
up,
what I
Blue
think church is there.
Katina? Oh, I'm just saying what's up to everybody in the chat. What's going on, Speedy? What's up,
Yeah, I haven't even been
Al?
looking in the chat just because I didn't
Bane
want,
Bear? What's
I
up,
don't want
Bane?
this guy going crazy.
Quiet Sparky Bear. Yeah, no problem. Robo
Yeah, yeah,
Honky is
yeah,
still
yeah.
my favorite name on the internet. Bullseye Dragon. What's going on? What's going on? Cosmic Lichens. Thanks for hanging out. So, you said you were saying something before we started recording about a tarot deck. You want to bust that out and show us some
Oh yeah,
cards?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
pull a card and we could talk about it.
Absolutely. All right, so everybody say goodbye to Locke because Daddy needs to use his magic hands.
You're
All
gonna
right,
go lock him up.
I'm gonna lock him up. Ugh, there you go.
Locking up, knock. No, no, he's not just on the couch. There you go. It's Locke's couch. I was
Eh,
wondering
you
what the
know,
couch was
if
about.
I'm lucky, he'll just chill right there and he'll be in the backdrop. So
Nice.
a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, and it was around Labor. It was like Labor Day weekend when I went up to Brantford for the International Mandela Effect Conference, which I have appearances on the International Mandela Effect video. And if you go to their YouTube channel during question time, I popped in and asked a few questions. Day one is great because I'm in a full suit, just a full suit. But while I was up there, I found an awesome head shop with like that was it was like it was a head shop and it was a metaphysical shop and it was huge and it had like the best selection of tarot cards I'd ever seen and it also had incenses and candles and the whole nine yards and it wasn't really new agey, right? It was just kind of like all purpose and it had dream catchers and hippie stuff too. It was great. It was effing great. And I found Dragon Tarot.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Angela Baby Carson, by the way. Go follow her channel. Her shout out got interrupted. That's amazing. What's the name of this place?
Um, I don't remember, but it looks like a house from
Mhm.
the outside, kinda. Um, I have to go double check my conversations that I had with the with Sean at the time because I was working with Sean and Chris making the event work. And so here's the backdrop art. Those four dragons like wings, and it also it looks like a fucking fractal
Oh
kaleidoscope.
yeah.
I just think that's sick as hell. And so like if I do a poll for our live stream right now, what do we got here? Ooh, oh nice. We've got the is that Page? Yes, Page of Cups. So this one, it's got a little dragon hatchling.
Oh.
Yeah. And so the dragon is coming out of the egg, and there's a full moon. Um, and so there's a lot of like really neat art in all of these. There's a lot of Norse stuff in it too. Some of the cards have runes on them, but it's not a Norse themed deck. There's a lot of stuff like this one here. The Justice card is deliberately using Greco-Roman architecture. So it's just a
Oh
dragon
yeah.
head. He's got the scales in his mouth, and then he's got he's got the sun and a feather, and it's sitting high above. Sadly, the Earth is round in this card, but you have to forgive good people.
Angela Baby Carson said, "Is there a reason this guy's naked? Is it hot there?"
What? Is there a reason why you have clothes on? Don't be a fucking prude. I don't come into your house and tell you how to live in your house.
He's hardcore heathen. He can't help it.
Here's the sun card. And so
The fratter.
you've got that they're literally going with the dragon lion motif. So it's kind of I mean, I don't think Yaldabaoth is the only dragon lion. I mean, cats are basically mammalian snakes with legs and feet. Cats are more serpentine than mammal, despite being mammal.
Yeah, I can confirm that.
Yeah. So this deck is sick. I've only used it a couple of times thus far because usually it's just appropriate for me to do my Wildwood deck. But yeah, so we had a Page of Cups situation there, right? So I was just sharing my story about like my emotional needs, right, and how I went and I was measuring things up here, but ultimately the decision was coming from down here, right? And this is me in that place of that innocent kind of student. And it's just like, do you like the drink that the person poured into your cup? Do you like the emotional knowledge, if you will, that was given to you, and you turn the cup away at some point?
Yeah, 100%. I was just looking at the chat. Somebody said, RoboHonky said that mice and snakes both go after mice. It's
Yeah,
another similarity.
exactly, exactly. And I suspect that cats, that might be it. I think that maybe snakes said, my goal is to become a cat one day, and that's like the snake's ascension. I get my feet, I get my legs back, and also I can catch more mice, because I guarantee you those cats are catching more mice than the snakes. They gotta be.
Well, I know that snakes could actually eat more mice than cats can. They can consume more.
True,
I picked
but
up that
but
negative information.
but cats will catch mice like the way dogs chase squirrels, you see. It's not about they're hungry for the squirrel. It's about it's let's face it, it's fun. It's like two dolphins playing with a pufferfish to get high.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah,
100%. Angela Baby Carson's recommending that everybody gets naked at home now. I think she's in Connecticut. She said we're
yeah.
both in Connecticut, which is
Listen,
pretty
listen.
crazy.
You want to be real about it, right? Because we're talking here about the principle of shame. Come on, this goes back to Adam and Eve. You know, they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and then the only consequence of the consumption of the fruit was having the understanding that you are nude. And then thus your immediate reaction to being nude is to unnude yourself. Um so you were already a person of modesty, but you were ashamed of your modesty. And that is kind of sitting at the core essence of it. And it's uncomfortable because it deals with, nudity and who and what sees nudity. Dad has caught you naked, right? I mean, like, if you understand certain esoteric circumstances of the story of Noah. Noah was the trouble that his children got into was because they caught him naked in the tent. Catching someone nude is an egregious sin. The first sin, right? And there's got to be a deeper explanation for that, because I think that it's okay, to be like, oh my God, right? But we've been wrapping ourselves up more and more ever since, right? Look at these savages, and then they have to show you somebody with their shirt off to tell you how they behave. So how the fuck do you think I behave because I take my shirt off? That's the problem with the world. I should be running an executive company with my shirt off if it makes me fucking comfortable. Why? My skin is an organ that breathes. I don't just breathe through my nose and my mouth. I breathe through my skin, and so do you. And
That's a good point.
breathe fairly fine with clothing, yes. But like the mask, it has an effect.
Mm.
So get some time for your skin to literally breathe. When the Picts would get all painted up for battle, if they didn't have at least one spot on their body that was unpainted, they would suffocate, even though they can breathe through their mouth and nose. It is actually very important that your skin breathes a lot.
And that's why I think it's important for clothing too, which people don't realize, because everybody's clothing themselves in basically like plastic or these polyfibers.
Right.
And I've been last year or so, I've been trying to wear a lot of wool. I actually have all wool on right now. I have a wool flannel, a wool little undershirt, some wool pants. So yeah, I think it does make a huge difference. It's more breathable. And I mean, I don't know if this is true, but I heard it has a higher vibration. Somebody that's wearing all wool. Maybe it's just an allegory for something like you should wear wool. I guess linen is really good too. But maybe we should all just start dressing in robes.
Right,
You know?
right. Listen, man, part of freeing yourself is being hated by everybody just because you have to say no. I gotta do it my way, right? And look, I'm an Aries. I'm a really, really extreme example. I'm not saying you gotta be me. I'm just saying that I get to be an example. That's all I'm saying. I get to be an example because it works for me.
Yeah, it's left-hand path, right? Not everybody should be naked, but it's your thing.
Yeah, kinda. Right. Precisely. It's the question of um outside of the reasonabilities of grocery stores and other places where there's open stuff like that, where can I get away with it? I certainly can get away with it just walking down the street. Hell, in New York City, a woman can have her tits out. We've seen it.
Yep.
So what are people complaining
Discrimination there in New York
about?
City.
Exactly.
Let's see how that works out for them.
Yeah. So that's my point. If you want to be immune to all this original shin shit, you got to get rid of shame. And they weaponized your skin. They turned your skin against you the way they turned your mouth and nose against you.
Yeah.
Consequences. There are consequences to what they did in 2020. Those consequences are us realizing things like this and doubling down in the opposite direction with better practiced facts to prove that it works.
Angela has a video that she wants us to show. Let me see. Oh, it's a short. I don't know. I don't know how it'll show
What
up.
is this silly? What is this silly shit? This is a very serious show. What are we doing?
Let me see if I'll share it, but I can't guarantee it's gonna look good because it's oh, that's the chat. I don't want to share the chat. With sound, yes. Zoom. There we go. All right. Let's see. Optimize for video clip. Let's see what that does. All right, here we go. Ooh. As you can already see, I am subscribed. So
that's a lovely backyard.
That was pretty cool.
That looks like you did a whole lot with a whole little amount of space, and it's impressive.
Yeah, great job.
So is that like a spa? Like you get in there and you just kind of like soak in the tub in the environment?
Is it a porcelain tub though?
I don't know. That definitely is a lady's her time situation right there.
She has a hook to the house with running water. That's pretty sweet.
Okay, well water. I'm assuming.
Hey, what's up, THC? Truther hour of comedy. I can't talk today. It's all right. It's just a podcast. It's all about talking. Who needs to talk? Yes, you're welcome. And I have subscribed. Everyone else, go ahead and subscribe. It's a nice, lovely, sunny day, fall day here in Connecticut. I love this weather.
Oh yeah,
it's like the best time to go outside.
I did a 30-minute jog before the show out there, just like this. It was cold, but after you get around the first lap and you're sweating, it's hot.
Yeah, I can imagine once you get going, and with the sun on you, it's got to be nice too. As long as you're not running in the shade. Shady acres. So did nobody call the cops on you?
No. I think they might have called a porn star on me. It's like, get this guy in the movies.
Oh, Jesus.
Look, I'm not running out there naked. I do have modesty, damn it. I'm actually very interested in you not seeing my balls. Okay? You can
Thank
know that
you.
they're there. You can have a vivid imagination about them. Keep it to yourself unless I'm reciprocal to your love. Then you can tell me all about
Yes, that makes sense. So no one's got to freak out. He's not totally naked, everybody.
it.
So, what have you been doing on your channel? Have you been in
Oh,
anything?
Martin Heidegger's Being in Time. I have been reading Being in Time by Martin Heidegger. Has been that's been my principal thing that I've been doing on my channel. And that has been a fascinating deep dive, which is also a dive in etymology, being directly correlated to our thinking about what the words we mean are as a utility to navigating the very world we live in. And it is the experience of existence is what gets zeroed in on with this book. Sorry if that beep came through. I thought I closed my
Oh, that's all right.
let me close my Telegram here. There we go. Okay. And so it gets centered into this concept called Dasein. And the book is primarily spending most of its time, at least thus far, and I'm maybe about halfway through it, reading it live stream with the audience as I riff on the book in real time and respond to ideas from the chat room, so on and so forth. In fact, I almost forgot I was doing this today, and I was going to be like, I'm going to do a Heidegger thing in the morning. Oh, wait, no, tomorrow's Tuesday. Ah, yes, somebody actually cared enough to have me on their show outside of the spiders.
Brandon Bonanza cares.
Yeah, he does. All right. So yeah, and so it gets into this concept of Dasein, and I think that there's this correlation between the word Dasein and what we say in English to design, Design. Dasein gets into the particulars of spatial relationship, right? The difference between, having this lighter in my hand, but also having this water bottle at hand. It's at my hand, meaning that so these are things that are in my world that if I am not moving anything other than my hands, is part of my function in navigation amongst my senses, being able to perceive all of these things by I was looking at them and I'm feeling them, right? And then there are also then the things that are further out in my perception, like Locke is now all the way across the room, and so thus he is not present at hand. He is near at hand, I think, is the expression being used. And these are some of the mechanics within the whole of the meaning of this word Dasein. And I'm forgetting what it is, but it's a compound of two words in German that Heidegger turned into his own coined phrase that the book is figuring out. And so I'm learning a little bit of German as I go, and also I've been having interesting conversations with Slick Dissident, Gabe, about this subject, because he also was intersecting some Heidegger and German stuff in his own research, and we had a whole lot to say about it. So we also did an interview on my channel, on the playlist for Heidegger, where we have a discussion on Heideggerian concepts and the way that's operating in the backdrop of everything else that we're doing. What was really, really cool about looking at Dasein and Heidegger's whole thing, I'm realizing that it's not using the word epistemology, but it's really an epistemology, right? And for me, I've always been talking about being an objectivist, an Ayn Randian objectivist who happens to also not be atheist, right? You don't have to be atheist to be an Ayn Randian objectivist, believe it or not. Um, and Objectivism is getting like this whole like understanding, like how do people, how do things, how do you perceive a thing from the left, from the right, from the inside, from the out, from the point of view of every other person in the room, from the point of view of the audience on the camera, so on and so forth. And what were all the elements involved in making this cell phone, the plant that it went to, where the resources for the chips came from, yada yada yada. That's objectivism. That's getting the whole of a thing understood. With Dasein, it's kind of the opposite but necessary function to that, because or subjectivism, or it functions within subjectivism, where now you're getting more, because it's getting all spatial and stuff, it's all you, right? Because Heidegger was operating from separating Cartesian thought of I think therefore I am, and going in a different route that honestly that keeps a spiritual principle alive within the thing I think therefore I am, through understanding more invisible principles and not just things that are of material subject. So long story short, it's getting into the layers of how you are just seeing things yourself, just like not worrying about everything else in the world's other equal perceptions of things. That's what you do with objectivism. You put on your objectivist hat when you want to get everything else coming in on you or coming in on subject. This is about you and your specific relationship and getting into the fine-tuned details of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Somebody, well, Slick said Zerilath is a language hero, very brave, tackling Latin, German, and Greek. And then Truther Hour of Comedy said, is it possible to think too deep? I think you could get lost in thinking, or thinking that you could know it all and trying to figure everything out. I think that's definitely a trap.
Well, as someone who does yoga, it's possible to stretch too deep, right? Don't go further than you're capable of, right? When like 2 years ago, when I still weighed 220 pounds and I started doing yoga, how far did you think my forward fold got? I did not have the elasticity in my tailbone at the time to achieve a very good fold. So I didn't go all the way down. This is literally the same thing, as within, as without. So you go deeper down after you've established yourself, right? Let's just say you're a deep sea diver. And what you do is you've got your boat on the top, and then you've got a midway point on your umbilical. And then that midway point gives you a safety net to climb up to before you have to go into major decompression. And then you ease yourself down and you keep going deeper, because the discovery, it matters. It's important. Some of us are creatures that have the interest of discovery. And it's okay if you don't want to discover anything, because this is the price of discovering stuff. It changes you. But also, if you don't change, you're going to lose the best parts of life, and then life sucks. Don't let it.
I mean, I feel like we're always changing, and if you're not conscious of it, then you could be changing maybe for the worse. And sometimes this work feels like things are getting worse, but it's just when we're working out like traumas and all that stuff and trying to get a different point of view on life. I really feel like that's really all that self-work is at the core of it. It's like just changing your perspective and your point of view on yourself and who you are in this world or realm. what the realm is, how you feel about things that happen. Because I know, like, once I started letting a lot of my victimness go from especially these events that happen in the world, all these wars now that are going on and whatever, I don't even pay attention. But I was working on something where, because somebody the other day was like, "Oh, did you see what's going on?" And I was just like, "No, I don't watch the news." But I should have said, when they're like, "Did you see what's going on?" I'm like, "Yeah, I can't believe they're starting to let women drive. Can you believe that?" Or they started letting women drive. Isn't that the world's going to go to shit now?
Yeah, right. Like, dude, I can't believe they bled Kansas.
Yeah,
Yeah, go real far back, right? Pre-Civil War news, right? Dude, they're bleeding Kansas. They're what? Didn't you know? Like 1854. Holy shit, right?
yeah,
We gotta
exactly.
stop this. We've been doing it for too long. Like, be like really alarmed, like it was a fact that just came up on your phone, right?
Yeah, I like it. I
And,
think I think I could
and if
work that
somebody
in
says
with the
whatever, just say like, "Listen, I'm part of historical society. That's my excuse. What's yours?"
yeah. I'm going back. It's like I'm going back to whenever women got suffrage or whatever. It's like, yeah, that's the same time they started letting them drive. Can you believe it? They could vote and drive now. Isn't that? I'm still not over that.
Yes, I expect them to make my bombs and my sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly. Not a bomb sandwich though. A sandwich that is the bomb, maybe, but not a
Exactly. No. The bomb sandwich is for me, Mr. Mustache.
bomb.
Get
Yeah,
Rosie on it right away.
yeah, exactly. Kansas is scientifically proven to be more flat than a pancake. Yes, I've been there before, Robohonky. It is flat. You could see Saudi Arabia from Kansas. It's so flat. You could see Death Valley from Kansas. It's so flat.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
you can mistake it for a boy.
you got any projects? Well, how much left do you have with this Heidegger book that you've been reading?
That's a good question. Let's see if I pull up the PDF, it opens right to the last page that I was on, and then I can get a gauge. Let's see.
Truthers Hour of Comedy, just so you know, I am a stand-up comedian. If you need a comedian on your show. I mean, I haven't been on stage since probably 2021, but I plan on getting back. I'm still funny, damn it.
Where was I?
Just the other day, I was driving down the street. It's like a true story. It really is a true story. I was driving with Elizabeth, and there's a chicken on the right side of the road. I'm like, what the hell? So I slowed down. It's this backcountry road. I slowed down, and the chicken darted like at the car, so I had to turn to not hit it, and it ran back to the left of the street. So I looked to the left, and I saw a farm, and I'm like, why the hell did the chicken cross the road? And then I was like, oh, I get it now.
Okay, so I'm looking here. I'm on
It's like the
approximately
bomb
page
everywhere.
118. Yeah, I'm not even halfway through. I'm still in Division 1. There's a Division 2. There's also, this is only part 1, and allegedly part 2 has never been translated into English. So now I'm a little salty about it. So I can only give you the English Heidegger. Part 2 is not available allegedly. I'm gonna keep looking, but I don't
Really?
think anybody's done it.
You might have to find a German translator.
Maybe. I probably could find one if I ask the right guy. There's a couple of YouTubers I might want to ask.
It's a good
But yeah,
idea.
so it'll be quite some time. You know, because otherwise there's always my practice of my music, and I don't have much that I am. It's a hassle to do a setup, to do a demonstration of something, or it's a hassle to set it up to do the recording, and then I got to do it during the day because I live in a society that that I can take my shirt off in. but everybody's got to sleep because work in the morning.
Yeah,
Right?
it's rough.
So it's not always good for that, especially because I'm not done with my workout like regimen the way that it is yet. And so that often overtakes it in my mind because I just want to get to that level that I'm looking for, that I'm almost there. And then once I hit that level, I can I can switch it up a little bit while continuing to build. And so putting the time in for the music is going to be very important to me. I mean, otherwise, I'm always looking for stuff to do because I'm more interested in doing stuff, which is why there hasn't been as much heavy content coming out on YouTube. But there will be things because I got that playlist about living a mythical life in action, right? And what goes in there. When I climb Breakneck Ridge, and I got the damn thing on my GoPro. When I'm out in the woods and I come across the ruins of something and I check it out and I try to get some facts about the area. I try to perhaps intuit, things that happened here that go beyond what we know in history, so on and so forth, right? And so it's all these different things. Maybe once in a while, showing off, a public intended ritual that I want to do because it's the full moon or something. I mean, like when I climbed the mountain last, it was the full moon. It was the full moon in Aries at the time, and so it's been a half a moon cycle, since then. And often that mountain climb is like a ritual for me. Often because I end up being in the mood to do it on a solstice or an equinox or a moon phase is often these times where I'm just like, okay, the schedule is good and I feel like doing it and the weather works out. Yes, win. And then I go climb the mountain.
Awesome. What was that full moon like for you? Because your sun is in Aries, so that must have been pretty crazy.
Right, because because I'm getting this full moon on my, at some point that moon is conjuncting during the day, the degree of Aries that my sun is at. Um, yeah, that full moon, it was good. Like I'm so like my energy levels are just so so high, and I've been swimming with so many ups and downs within my thoughts and emotions my entire life that like I don't know, everything's just evened out and I can just work with it. And it's more about like seeing how the rest of the world may particularly be than how it affects me in such ways. I'm usually kind of ahead of it. Like I'll hear some really accurate astrologers say like expect this to come up and that to come up and that to come up. And then I'm like, wow, that actually already happened to me. Right? Like 2 weeks ago. And it might be because the way that I'm an Aries, that I naturally kind of go through the trends ahead of time. And so then when it actually hits, I've already gone through it because like I just like let me stumble into the problem first. Boom. All right, guys, I sprung the trap. I need healing.
Exactly. Well, that's good though. You're facing it head on. Slick Dissident wants me to ask you to expound more on your relationship with the word Viscarius. Guess I don't know. You look in the chat. I can't quite.
Okay, hold on. Yeah, let me look back.
Abiviscaris. I love the word. It has so much more going on than
Oh, oh,
meets the
oh, oh,
eye.
oh. Okay. Um, I um I played I put a song by Ne Obliviscaris on one of the videos that I uploaded. Ne Obliviscaris is a prog metal band with a violinist, a clean singer, and a growler uh,
Ooh.
from Australia. They've got 4 albums, and they're tuned into a lot of stuff. There's a lot of really like awesome esoteric messaging and stuff going on with them. And I never thought enough about the name other than knowing that "nay" means kind of like to negate, like no. And then Obliviscaris has oblivion, has the word oblivion in, or to be oblivious. So to Obliviscaris, I am not 100% sure where that goes. But I just have very strong loving for the style and the production and what they're doing with that band. They've got 4 albums and an EP, and I highly recommend everybody check them out if you like heavy, heavy, heavy and long songs. Opeth
Nice.
Opeth fans in particular would like Nay Obliviscars, I think.
Sounds pretty good. I like how you called them a growler. I didn't realize that's what they were called, but I immediately knew what you meant.
Right. Well, yeah. There's amongst the different vocal styles, you got your Cookie Monster stuff, which works very well for death metal and whatnot. Then you got your
Like
Banshees.
Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah, like Cannibal Corpse. Then you got your Banshees. That's your black metal voice. That's the one that goes up into the high screeching registers. You got your guys that do kind of like your shouting type. That's more like hardcore punk, sometimes uh, thrash metal. Will be a lot like that. And there's an endless different amount. Pig squeals, which are like Cookie Monsters, good for death metal, and it's good for death metal high register stuff because you're literally squealing like a pig, the words. It's insane stuff, but you know what? I think probably back in the day some of the cults to Freyr and Freya would squeal like pigs in primal ritual because of Gurlenblasti. I think that's how you pronounce his name, which is the boar, the war boar that Freya rides upon.
Nice.
That
Shout
that
out to I was going to say shout out to Symbolic Studies Mario in the chat. Go check his channel. He's got some amazing stuff. It's funny that you brought up Freya a few times because my woman is going to see her friend's baby, and they named the baby Freya, so she's gonna go hold Freya literally.
Yeah, there's a lot. Like Freya is a very popular woman's name in various parts of Europe, and it's catching on in the States in amongst people that are into it. Freya is a very popular goddess for women. There's a lot of there's a lot of women of different ethnicities that name themselves Freya. Um, they even had Freya. There was even a Freya who was a black woman character in the fourth Matrix film. So playing on that archetype in a way that, like, yeah, a lot of people don't like it. I'm personally over it. I don't think it's a big deal. you know um just because it's also kind of expected and not necessarily woke, even though we can perhaps disagree with it, but I don't care. um and so yeah, like she's very popular, goddess of love and beauty and war. I mean, and that war, it's just a question of, is she capable of raising warriors? Is this a maiden that when she grows into her late, what is it, it's the maiden, I guess it is the mother, right? Either way, the motherly phase of life, whether you have a child or not, when you grow into that mother phase, are you able to raise a boy into being a warrior? And can you raise a girl into being able to defend herself?
Yeah, it's very important these days. And can you raise them to be a warrior for themselves and not for some in the Middle East?
Mm.
that will not be named that has a star on their flag, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I totally agree. It's good though. It's funny because I think that some of these ideas really can't be held back, so they're just out there and they're pushed, and sometimes they're obfuscated, and you see that a lot. You know, obviously, like with the New Age stuff, and a lot of people are just worshiping the goddess and
Hmm.
like fuck the Thor or the Odin or whoever the male god is. He's good for a movie, but that's it.
Shout out to Bane Bear. He just texted me Obliviscaris. So slick. I hope you're listening. It means do not forget
Ooh,
in Latin.
oh, I like that.
So if Obliviscaris means that, then what the hell is? All right, now I have to look up nay in Latin. Nay, Latin, which is ne. There, but to come.
I'll do a commercial really quick. Hey, everybody, if you like my stuff, go to morelawsmoreproblems.com. Check out my blog. There's several ways to support me on that website, too. Check out my other show, The Oversharing Show. And that's at morelawsmoreproblems.com if you click on the Oversharing tab. Or The Terrible Podcast, which has made a return. We just released our 3rd episode this week, so 3 weeks strong on our comeback. So check that out at terrible.com. It's just an audio podcast for now. We're looking at maybe doing some video or some readings for people on video. So check that out at tarotbowl.com. We just talked about some cards in the Lord of the Rings tarot deck that I have right here. So if you want to see that and listen to my lovely voice and my co-host Ashley and her great perspective on things, check it out. It's pretty cool. I wouldn't say she's exactly a normie, but it's more of a less of a truther thing and more of just talking about symbols and you know, our lives, I guess. But it's pretty cool. I make some jokes on there. Check it out. How can people find you, by the way? You should give some
Me, oh me, yes, I am for a rune reading, tarot rune reading, Zerilath at yahoo.com. You can hit me up for that. I got runes too here if you want me to to throw anything at you. But it's Zerilath at yahoo.com. You can hit me up to get a tarot rune reading. It's $90 for an hour, $60 for half an hour, and I have a couple of different spreads to choose from depending on what time limit that you want to pick up, and we do it on Zoom. Zoom preferably, but I can also work with you if you don't want to do or can't get Zoom going. It's whatever. They can be done live, they can be done pre-recorded, so on and so forth. And then Zerilath Immortal is my YouTube channel. I don't have a link for it yet because I'm under 100 subs. So I'll handle that as soon as you all love me enough. So Zerilath Immortal on YouTube. I got Zerilath Divinations is on Facebook. That's also another way to keep an eye out for my social media, like I'm links to doing things like going live on Brandon's show. Although I didn't do it for this one, but that's because I didn't have enough time when the link came out.
how dare you? Just kidding.
And
Hail, not jail.
Where else matters? For the most part, that's really oh yeah, Twitter. I'm Zerilath369 on Twitter, or Z2 you'll see. Twitter, aka X. And I think that's that's really about it. And if you want to get to know me on Telegram, be interactive with me first, or be a friend of a friend.
There you go. Makes sense. Yeah, we can't just be accepting all these bots. You never know who people are these days.
There's too much on Telegram, just way too much. I gotta get there on a filter.
Yeah, 100% for sure. Awesome. Well, we've been going for just about an hour, and I've been trying to keep these a little bit shorter. I also have to run a bunch of lovely errands today, which is amazing. But is there anything else you wanted to get out there before we ended this lovely live stream? We had
let me throw
up
us.
to 11 people. Oh, there's 9 people now. There's 11 earlier. That's a
Okay.
sign.
That's all right. That's all right. I'm sure people will come back to finish it off. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with a rune for you. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, do it.
It's Wunyo, but it came up reversed. So guys, I want you to work harder to earn the satisfaction of your labors. All right, you're not putting enough of the work in to get the output of the desired results you're looking for, and so that's gonna kill your joy. So get at it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll sound this off too.
Yeah, I was gonna say before you blow that, I was gonna say if you get a reading from Zerilath, you can get some motivational horn blowing too. He'll blow the horn for you.
Nice.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Angela, baby Carson.
All righty.
Let's do it. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Go ahead. I was gonna let you blow it to take us out finally, so I just want to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out. Thank you guys so much, Slick Dissident, Robo Honky, Symbolic Studies, Angela Baby Carson, Blue Kachina. We love you all. Bane Bear, of course. How can I forget? Speedy Lee. QSB was in there earlier. Quiet Sparky Bear. He's been a long time fan of both of ours. Shout out to you as well. Anyone else that made it? Oh, Truth or Hour of Comedy. Of course, how could I forget? And we will see you next time. And until we do, Z's going to blow the horn for you. Go ahead, Z, blow the horn. To war. See you guys later. Take care.